everybody. Week 3 Boom Bust Fantasy Football, joined by
Albert made sure he was first in this today.
Absolutely, he was not getting.
He ain't playing around.
We got Albert in the house. We got Ali Boscott in the house. We got David over here on Instagram. What's up? What's up, guys? Kyle, Tony, how are you guys doing?
I'm good, man. Cleveland,
I'm good to see you guys.
Cleveland and Pittsburgh a little more entertaining than I anticipated.
Yeah, right.
No doubt. No doubt.
Did you see the ending of that game?
Dude, after
you see the final play?
Yeah.
No,
I had Cleveland's defense going in one lead.
I did too.
I came in with like 30 seconds left. I saw Chubb ran for a first down. They measured it. Pittsburgh has no more timeouts. I just was like, screw it. I came on in here. And then Corey's like, hey, Cleveland's D. I was like, how did Pittsburgh even get the ball back?
Yeah, I had him in a league against Kyle, so that makes me feel pretty good.
So I missed the last 30 seconds of the game. And
yeah, you missed some fireworks.
Some weird shit happening, apparently.
Najee Harris with a -2 points. Browns D with a +6. Man, what a cluster.
It was +8 because there's a fumble recovery and a touchdown.
True. It was a fumble and a fumble recovery +8. So stupid.
Most leagues before that play, they had 1 point.
Listen, we've been telling people for 3 weeks now that Cleveland defense is a good start. So,
yeah, but they weren't up until that point against Pittsburgh. So it's kind of weird because everyone's like, "Oh, they're must start."
It's final points only. That's all that counts. Is final. Yeah,
points. Number 1 defense on most rankings this week, and then just flop. So
that's awesome.
Too funny. All right, guys, how about we kind of jump into some boom bust?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Alrighty. We got our little player bank over here. We got our booms. We got our busts. It just doesn't feel like it's been a week since we've done this. Football season is flying by, guys. I am unhappy about that. I love talking to you guys, but it just doesn't seem like it was that long ago we were doing this. Okay. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's do QBs. Kyle, I will let you go first on our QB list. Throw me either your boom or your bust. Doesn't matter which one.
Well, you know me. I like to start the night on a positive. So we'll go with our boom. Joe Burrow. Mr. Burrow's had a rough couple of weeks to start the season. I think this week against the Jets is where he gets right. It's an amazing opponent. Get everybody up and going strong, 100%. I think this is definitely the week to do it. What's funny is I saw a funny meme earlier today. It's a little dark, so bear with me. But it said it showed the quote where La'el Collins was signed by Cincinnati, and he said, "Hey, your bodyguard's here," blah blah blah, and then somebody tweeted that, and it said. Joe Burrow and JFK, 2 people whose bodyguards let him down in Dallas.
Wow. You know me, I like that humor, but man.
It's brutal, but it was hilarious because it's true. That line that they went out and signed this year has been letting them down so far. So hopefully they can get all that turned around this week against the Jets. Wow. And I think they will.
Ooh. Speaking of dark humor, Tony, let's go with your quarterback.
We're off to a good start tonight, fellas. I'm going to follow in. This was my DFS start of the week, and obviously made a mistake not starting Tua over this guy.
Hey, your microphone cut out when you said the name, so we actually didn't hear it.
Can you got me now?
Yeah, you're good now.
We can hear you now.
So my boom quarterback for the week is Mr. Derek Carr. Look, this team is 0-2. They've got to get this offense on track. There was a little bit of a letdown last week, especially with Devontae Adams. I expect them to come out of the gate strong this week against that Tennessee defense, which looked really suspect versus both the Giants in week 1. And we just watched Monday night, Josh Allen ripped this defense apart. So not that Derek Carr is a Josh Allen, but they do have weapons on offense. Devontae Adams and Darren Waller. I am expecting big things from Derek Carr this week. He's a must start for me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, you mentioned those two weapons, but then he's got Renfro on top of that, and it's not like his running backs are just chopped liver. So you've got that offense is pretty high powered. So
Definitely.
not a bad call. Not a bad call. All righty, Kyle. Who's your bust then?
Mr. Russell Wilson. He's someone that has been having a rough couple of weeks, but it's not his fault. A lot of it's coaching, but I don't think the coaches have figured it out yet, and two, I don't think San Francisco is the one where they would be able to turn it around, even if they did with that defense. So I don't see Russell Wilson doing very good this week, and I wouldn't start him unless I just didn't have an option.
Yeah, I don't think that's really your get right game.
No.
And if you're playing the Jets or something, I don't think
it's the opposite situation of what you want when you're trying to get right than what Burrow's going into this week.
Yeah, I agree. That's rough. All right, Tony, that leaves you with Trevor Lawrence.
I don't think I had Trevor Lawrence. Did I put Trevor Lawrence on my bus this week? I think maybe I did put Trevor Lawrence on my bus. I was, I'm looking at my list here, and I was between Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. So I can do a little bit on both. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence, I think this week he's up for letdown. This Chargers defense is really solid. They did. If you watched week 2 versus Kansas City, they held Patrick Mahomes, made him look almost pedestrian. Derek Carr certainly. I mean, I think he threw 3 picks in week 1 versus the Chargers. So I'm a little bit down on Trevor Lawrence this week, even though he's off to a pretty good start. And as far as Justin Fields, this is an easy target. I had him on my list, and maybe I thought he was too easy a target. But this is a quick bonus. This guy, he only threw 11 passes in week 2, 18 passes in week 1. Passing volume just is not there. This guy cannot be trusted. This offense can't be trusted in fantasy right now.
No, I agree. What a letdown. I mean, everyone touting for Mooney and Kmet this year, and then nothing from either one of them. Just been horrible. And just so everyone knows, the newcomers, the newbies today, we will go through quarterbacks, running backs, and we'll do a Q&A session there at halftime. Then we'll do wide receivers and tight ends after that, and then another Q&A session, just so everyone knows. So stick around. We will get to your questions and conversations over there. All righty. Let's do running backs then, and let's let Tony do running back first.
Yeah, so this week I'm really liking San Francisco now with this change at quarterback, going to Garoppolo. We talked a lot about Deebo Samuel. We talked about him on Monday night. We talked about him last night as a strong buy candidate. But this also, I think, changes the situation for Jeff Wilson. With Garoppolo behind center, defenses are going to have to respect that passing game a little bit more. Kyle Shanahan wants to run the football, and I expect to see a heavy dose of Jeff Wilson this week at Denver. I like the matchup. I like the play. And I think he's a guy that I'm going to have on my boom list for this week at the running back position.
Yeah, I think that offense is totally different now with Jimmy G back. So I'm feeling better for those wide receivers. Kittle, when he comes back, feeling better there. And then, like you said, Jeff Wilson, I think, also gets better from that. Kyle, which one you got here for me?
Man, I got Aaron Jones as my bust.
Wow.
Snap. Coming in hot.
This isn't the reason, but we talked about it the other night. Actually, I think it was last night, Tony. You and me were talking about it. He has one big blow-up game, then he falls off the map. Well, that's not my full reasoning for putting him on my bust list, but they're playing Tampa Bay, who is a good rushing defense. And I don't think this offense is equipped to handle that kind of game very well, and I don't think Jones is going to have a very good game for that reason. They're still splitting evenly with Dillon. I think Dillon's power probably lends itself a little bit better against the Bucks versus Jones, but I'd rather not start Aaron Jones this week. Odds are you probably don't have a lot of better options, but I would definitely temper those expectations for Jones against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean, Tampa Bay's been a tough defense. And honestly, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, which one's it going to be this week? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So that's tough. I guess you're saying it's going to be A.J. Dillon this week. I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Aaron Dillon, A.J. Dillon. They both start with A. That's crazy. I think it's going to be A.J. Dillon more weeks than it's Aaron Jones, honestly.
Interesting. All right, Tony, who's your bust?
Yeah, so my bust this week is going to be Mr. Chase Edmonds. I guess, when in doubt, bench players versus the Buffalo defense. Buffalo has not allowed a running back more than 50 rushing yards so far on the season. I don't know, we're only 2 weeks in, but that's a pretty strong statement. That combined with Mostert maybe coming on a little bit, I do not expect anything out of Chase Edmonds. In the first 2 weeks, we're talking about combined 14 PPR points. So although I do think there's upside on Chase Edmonds on the season, this is not a game where you want him in your starting lineup. You do not want him at the flex position. He's a bust.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you going to say? Buffalo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you got to say, essentially.
It's like we were saying with the quarterbacks earlier. Like, this is not the get-right spot.
No, this is not it. Let Mostert run the ball a lot in this one, just get hurt, and then we'll look forward to the rest of the season with Chase Edmonds.
Right.
Kyle, that leaves David Montgomery for you.
Yeah, he's going to be my boom this week. We already talked about they're not throwing the ball hardly at all in Chicago. And last week when he wasn't running in a Soup Bowl, he did pretty well. And he's getting a lot of carries. I think he had 22 carries last week. So that's a really good workload, and that's with Herbert still getting his too. So Houston is a great matchup. I love me some David Montgomery this week.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. I literally have no argument for that. It's a great one. Good pick. Okay, so let's see. I'm just going to say hey to some people here. We got Jorge in here. My friends.
Yep.
What's up, man? We got Dynasty Life in here. What up, man?
What's up,
Elias. Dude, you never know. I'm just saying. So, we got some. What's up, guys? Welcome in. All right, let's go to a little bit of discussion really quick.
Excuse me.
What's the first one? How do you feel about Brandon Ayuk and Najee Harris for Alvin Kamara?
You getting Kamara, I assume?
I would assume so. I guess it really doesn't matter. Just if someone was trading Ayuk and Najee Harris for Alvin Kamara, which side wins?
Kamara. I think he's safer for the rest of the year.
What do you think, Tony?
I would agree. I think it's probably fair value too. I don't think that it's.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an unfair trade. I'm down on Najee. He scored the touchdown tonight, saved his fantasy day.
That fumble did.
Yeah, right. Brandon Ayuk's value does get a little bit of a bump with Garoppolo behind center, but this passing offense is still going to go through Deebo Samuel. So I think that's a fair trade, and I think Alvin Kamara is definitely the best player in the deal. And if you walk away with Kamara, I think you're happy about it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Should I start Curtis Samuel or Marquise Brown?
Brown. It's got to be Brown.
I think. Well, who do each of them play?
I don't even know off the top of my head.
That makes a difference to me.
Brown's playing against the Rams, and Samuel's playing
against Philly.
Philly. Still Brown. In a potential shootout with LA as the number one for Kyler.
Yeah, I think the thing with Brown is I think he gives you a much higher ceiling. Curtis Samuel is that volume receiver in Washington, and I'm not ecstatic about the matchup against Philadelphia. They've been kind of middle of the road, but that defense seemed to be coming on that Monday night game. So I agree with you. I think Hollywood is the guy with the most upside. He's the guy that I probably want in my roster that gives me the most juice at the wide receiver position. Yeah,
Philly shutting down Minnesota the other night really puts a damper on Curtis Samuel for me this week.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to depend on where Slay lines up. If Slay goes on McLaurin or if he's on Samuel, or how they're moving these guys around in the game. But yeah, I mean, for me again, Hollywood his ceiling is much higher than Samuel, and I like Samuel.
Yeah, Slay was ball hawking. Good Lord.
Yeah, he was everywhere.
No doubt.
And Kirk Cousins just kept throwing it to him. Here you go, buddy. Like,
how many pitches you want, Slay? Let's see. Jets are 31st on putting pressure on the QB. I don't doubt that one bit.
Yeah.
Who's 32nd? That's who I want to know. Elias says, Muth clutched at the game. Thank God he didn't dud. Yeah, came in there at the end. I know Kyle's happy about that. Well, because he started him against me in one league, but we started him as like flex position in a couple leagues even, and so thank goodness he got us a little bit.
Couple of deep leagues, yeah.
Yeah.
We're not just throwing Muth around all Harry Carey.
No doubt. I have to start Russell Wilson in Superflex.
Depends on who your other QB is, I guess, if that's a good thing or a bad thing. If he's your second QB, I can live with that.
Yeah. Let's see. We got some what up. Start Dameon Pierce or Michael Carter.
Who does Carter play? We already talked about it, I know.
Did we?
Cincy, and then Pierce plays Chicago. I think you got to go Carter.
I think I'm going Carter on that.
Well, let's rewind the season back to just week 2, and let's kind of remind ourselves what Green Bay just did to Chicago. Mr. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, 193 yards and a touchdown. I'm probably, to be honest with you, and I'm not high on Dameon Pierce, this is the guy I'm probably starting this week against that Chicago defense.
If I thought Dameon Pierce was anything like Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon at this point, maybe so. But I saw what Tony Pollard did against Cincy, and Tony Pollard looked really good against Cincy. So I'm kind of thinking the same kind of role there for Michael Carter this week.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Week 1, San Francisco, 24 carries, 115 yards, and a touchdown. So I think it's safe to say that they're a little bit soft on that run defense. I don't think it's a crazy idea to start Dameon Pierce. So I would probably lean towards him. Plus, with Carter and Breece Hall, I'm not really sure who's going to be touching the ball in that offense. I'm leaning Pierce in this game.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Burkhead gets a little work there in Houston. I know they want to get Pierce going. That's the one positive there. It feels like that could be coach talk, I guess, but it seems like I know get him the ball and get him going. So,
well, his carries trended in the right direction from week 1 to 2. So.
It's getting there. There.
I'm imagining Pollard and Carter doing the same thing against Cincinnati. And
yeah.
Week 2, Dameon Pierce shot up to 62% of the snap share, leaving 37% for Burkhead. So I like that split for Dameon Pierce, believe it or not.
I think it gets better for him too.
Yeah. So I'm kind of digging him in this spot against Chicago.
I think it's kind of hard to go wrong either way. Both are in pretty good positions.
Except that Michael Carter has Breece Hall. Dameon Pierce doesn't have that.
Michael Carter's still been producing though. But you're right. I mean, if he is the lead, but I just like that matchup. That's because of Pollard last week. Here's another one here. Would you rather have rest of season Tua or Burrow?
Ooh.
Give me Burrow. It doesn't look good right now on paper, but yeah, give me Burrow still.
I think the rest of the season, I'm saying same.
One, Burrow's not going to flop all season like he did the first 2 weeks, and two, Tua's not going to score those kind of points like he did last week every week. So,
well, let's also put something in perspective. That first week, Joe Burrow had 5 turnovers and still scored 2 less fantasy points than Lamar Jackson. So there's potential there, right? So,
yeah.
He said he traded Tua for Burrow. I think that's fine. I think sell high on Tua. Tua had a big game, but it's not going to be like that all the time. So,
right.
I think, real quick, Burrow is a tier 2 quarterback in fantasy. Tua, even after that game on Sunday, is more like a tier 4, tier 5 type quarterback. So I don't even think it's really close. Now Tua could surprise and Burrow could disappoint, but I think you got the better end of that deal. Selling high on Tua and getting a guy like Burrow. And Burrow was a monster the second half of last year, especially down the stretch. So
totally agree. Who should I start at wide receiver 2? Michael Thomas, Curtis Samuel, or Christian Kirk?
Man, I'm loving Christian Kirk right now.
Yeah.
Even though I have Trevor Lawrence on my bus list.
Yeah, and they're playing the Chargers.
Yeah. It's hard to bench Christian Kirk. I mean, this guy has looked. I mean,
I still don't fully trust Michael Thomas yet either, as crazy as it sounds.
What's that?
I still don't fully trust Michael Thomas either, as crazy as it sounds. But I love Christian Kirk right now, dude. He's just
18 targets on the season. He's going to command the volume in this offense. Yeah, you got to start that guy.
I agree. I'm going Christian Kirk on that one. Derrick Henry for Dalvin Cook.
Yes.
If you're getting Cook, yeah.
Yeah, you want Cook in that deal. Guy wants Fournette. He has Montgomery, Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Keenan Allen, Dameon Pierce, Henderson. Who should I ask for him?
I feel like we answered this question yesterday and the day before.
Yeah, you want all of them. For Fournette, you want Montgomery, Hill, St. Brown, and Keenan Allen. Yeah.
That's never going to happen.
I know. I'm being a smart ass. Who should I ask for him? Jonathan Taylor, Patterson, Hines, Melvin Gordon are my running backs. I mean, do you need a wide receiver upgrade? But really,
why would you
get
why
trade
Fournette? I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Just because a guy wants him doesn't mean you have to trade him.
Yeah, because I see Jonathan Taylor, and then it drops all the way down to Patterson, and then you have 2 running backups there. I don't think
that's the reason why he wants Fournette.
Yeah, I'd be trying to trade Patterson instead of Fournette for something he's got.
Yeah, I don't think that's a great situation there.
I do think. I just wanted to say I do think as far as value is concerned, Tyreek Hill and Amon-Ra St. Brown, if it was a straight up trade, I would probably take either one of those guys.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. If you trade him, you got to get one of them.
Yeah.
Will he give you Montgomery with one of those? Will he give you Montgomery Hill or Montgomery St. Brown?
Or even Pierce St. Brown. I'm thinking St. Brown can be one of those guys he thinks he's selling high on. So he might give him a little bit more than Tyreek Hill because Tyreek Hill's more of that name. He might be like, ooh, I'm selling high on St. Brown. And then Dameon Pierce is a toss-in because he's getting Fournette. So you might be able to pull that off.
It's worth a shot.
It is worth a shot. Alrighty, let's see. Which one? Hold on. Standard League trading Akers for Waller. Good. I mean, I guess if you have running back depth and need a tight end. So
value wise, you're crushing that.
Yeah.
Waller. I mean, yeah, your team needs to play a role, but value-wise, that's a no-brainer for me.
It's very difficult. They're only, it's a very small number of elite tight ends, and when you have an elite tight end on your roster, it gives you weekly advantage in your matchups.
Yep.
Although this might be a great opportunity to buy low on Waller, but I'm very bullish on him on the season in this offense. So I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yep. I like that a lot. Good Lord, let's see. I think he wants Fournette, Sutton for Dalvin Cook with London or Bateman. Worth it or no? Fournette and Sutton for Dalvin Cook, and let's probably say Drake London.
Fournette and Sutton. Okay.
And then you get to Cook and London or Cook and Bateman. I don't hate Cook and London.
Yeah, Cook and London's probably which way I
Yeah.
would go there, but not Bateman.
I just hate losing Sutton.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. You're upgrading a little bit at running back, but I feel like that downgrade at receiver is more significant.
But is he upgrading at running back? I know Fournette just gets more catches, So, like, how much is he actually upgrading with
I
Dalvin
said
Cook this
slightly.
year? I mean, but is he? Like,
I think
I
he
don't
is
know.
a little bit, yeah.
Okay. It wasn't. Yeah, maybe I worded that wrong. But is he upgrading?
I think he is a little bit, but he's definitely not at receiver, so I probably would not do
So,
that.
Fournette is a little concerning right now, and I know Cook hasn't been picture of perfect health, but Fournette's a little bit concerning right now with that hammy. I've got a ton of stock in Lenny, and I've been talking about him the past couple days on Wall Street, and then Monday night Panic Room. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit concerned about that hamstring. Just putting it out there. So it's not necessarily a bad idea to move from Fournette to Cook. I just think you're downgrading quite a bit from Sutton. Even though I like London and Bateman, it's just Sutton can be tremendous in that offense in Denver.
Agreed.
And remember, we've talked about this, but when looking at receivers, the card that trumps all other cards is the quarterback card. And I'd rather have Russell Wilson throwing the ball than Lamar Jackson, who's the other receiver, or Marcus Mariota.
Is Valdez-Scantling worth picking up, or Juju is the man?
Kelsey's the man.
Yeah.
And apparently CEH is involved this year, so catching.
I'd rather have Juju than.
Yeah, give me Juju over Valdez-Scantling.
If you're picking between those two.
Yeah.
I probably would go the other direction. I'd probably go MVS.
You're just being contrarian now.
No, he's played a larger. He's got a larger snap share, and he has a larger target volume in the offense. So I think he probably gives you a little bit of a higher floor. I don't trust Juju, but that being said, I agree with everything you said. I think Kelsey's the man there, and I would. That doesn't mean I think he's worth picking up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not playing either one of them at this point. So, who should I start at my flex? Jerry Jeudy, Sutton, Mike Williams, Allen Robinson. Is Jeudy hurt? Is he going to play this week?
Unsure for now.
Yeah.
They're still evaluating.
And Keenan Allen's still out, right?
That one I'm not sure actually.
Okay.
But I believe so.
Yeah, I mean,
Mike Williams against the Jags. You gotta love that matchup.
that's what I'm thinking. It's hard to pass on Mike Williams right there.
If not him, Allen Robinson against Arizona. But with Wilson struggling and Jeudy hurt, I might stick away from playing the Niners, might stick away from the Broncos this week. Nick Bosa is going to be all up in Russell Wilson this weekend.
We'll let you word that different next time.
Giggity, giggity, goo. Nope. No regrets. No regrets.
All right, Tony, what do you disagree with?
I just wanted to add that I'd be keeping a close look on the injury report because it looks like Keenan Allen he had a limited practice again today. Not quite sure he's going to suit up this weekend. And if that's the case, I don't know how you don't start Mike Williams.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Mike Williams is probably the guy I like. To me, it's between him and Sutton. Even though we might be a little bit down on Russell, just Sutton. They're not going to walk away without any passing yards. Russell's going to have to throw the ball to somebody. So I do like Sutton on the week. I do like him as a weekly starter. But in this spot, Mike Williams, especially with Keenan Allen banged up.
Yeah.
And the matchup.
Yeah. So watch that injury report for both Keenan Allen and Jerry Jeudy, unless I've missed something on Jeudy. I don't trust MT either, Kyle. So, yeah.
He burned us for 2 solid years. Like,
oh my gosh, MT's been doing decent. You still can't sell him? Yeah, that's crazy.
seriously, dude. 2 years of burning. You don't get over that in 2 weeks. I'm sorry.
Oh, he had a deal set up for MT and Kamara for Diggs and Hall. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have grabbed Diggs up in that just as fast as I could.
That's tough, man. With MT, he's still putting up fantasy points, and Hall hasn't yet. But yeah, now after week 2, Diggs owner wants to keep him. Yeah, that's don't blame him there, because Kamara hasn't really been putting up those points yet either. But start Cordero Patterson against Seattle or Michael Thomas against Carolina. PPR. What up, Jam? Welcome to our Jam session here.
Gotta go Patterson there.
Yeah, I agree.
More touches.
Yep. More touches.
See, I'm learning from Tony. It's starting to rub off a little bit. Gotta get more touches.
Quit rubbing up on Kyle, Tony. That's how things happen. There you go. I'm thinking of Montgomery. Pick up Herbert just in case. And St.
Oh, and that trade from earlier. If you can get Monty and St. Brown for Fournette, freaking go for it. Definitely.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Love the fantasy talk. Thank you guys for being here. No.
Thank you
for being here.
Appreciate that.
You the real MVP.
Trying to see that picture. You're a handsome beast, Vincent.
Kyle, don't be cheating on Tony. But seriously.
I would never.
What a
Tony's
gentleman.
my professor.
I have Debo, Sutton, Godwin, Boyd, wide receiver. It's not bad. Not a bad setup.
Throw him on Raw in there, you're set.
We got to get Godwin healthy. So it's a bad setup until Godwin's healthy.
Yeah. And then I traded Kelsey away. Shame on you.
Flip this table and walk away. You've learned
What did
nothing.
you get for Kelsey? What did
You've
you
learned
get?
nothing from us.
That's wild. Okay.
I want to know what he got. What did you get?
I know. He'll tell us. Hold on. I'm not waiting on it.
All right.
And then he tells us why he traded away Kelsey. It better be a bag of gold. I don't know. Hey, guys, got a question for you. Someone offered me Kyle Pitts for my Higbee and Drake London. I really could care less for Higbee, so I see it's Drake for London. What do you think?
Higbee's been more productive than Pitts.
Kyle Pitts, lots of hype.
As much as it hurts me
no
to say
production.
it, because I am a Kyle Pitts lover as a player, but he's been killing me in fantasy
Yeah.
for a year and 2 weeks now. So,
Kyle just traded away Pitts. I'm trying to trade away Pitts. I'm not worried about.
I mean, it depends on what your wide receiver depth looks like. And
But if Drake London
you're that, I mean, if you're that high on Pitts and you can afford to let the receiver go, get your guy. But honestly, I'm thinking I just stick with Higbee and London there.
I'd like
That's
to know
just
what
me
Tony
being
thinks
honest.
also.
As much as I love Kyle Pitts, man, I don't know, man.
I'd like to know what Tony thinks on this with it being Kyle Pitts as well.
He says that London is currently on his bench with Hollywood, Thomas, Bateman, and
Oh,
Diggs.
yeah.
Hollywood, Thomas, Bateman, and Diggs starting.
Oh, so yeah, you don't really need them, but
Yeah, it
Higby
makes
or
it makes sense. I get you making that trade. The one thing that Kyle Pitts does do is he is definitely going to raise your ceiling at the tight end position, but he apparently has also a very low floor. So
apparently.
he's a very risky play at the tight end position. And Higby has been dominating a strong target share in that offense.
Mhm.
Week one, 23% of the targets. Week two, 26% of the targets. That's elite target share for a wide receiver, let alone a tight end. So I'd have a hard time moving off of that. And Drake London looks like a monster. He looks like that the offense is going to run through him in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's exactly what it looks like.
I'm all about buying low on Pitts right now. I'm not quite sure I would pull the trigger on that.
Yeah, that's tough. Hey, but Kyle Pitts is very consistent. I'll give him that. If nothing else, Kyle Pitts is consistent. So
And London gives you good depth. If
Yeah.
anything happens to any of these receivers and you got London sitting in your bench to plug in, that's a nice luxury to have. It's a long season.
That it is.
agreed. Alrighty, let's see. Especially with all the injuries that are happening this year already. Ouch. Edwards or McKinnon for Chiefs running back. It's a mess for them.
Oh, it's Edwards-Helaire, easy.
Yeah. McKinnon is not their guy. Let's see. Who should I start at my flex? Olave or Bateman?
Bateman.
Yep.
These are easy ones, guys. Come on now.
Give Elias a compliment, please.
Elias is a handsome beast too.
You're breaking the guy's heart.
Let's see.
Even if he's not as handsome as Vincent, he may be smarter.
We can't really tell.
I'm not for sure. I can't really see his picture as well.
Elias, honestly, I just like your name. I hope that's your real name because that's cool.
Honestly, Elias, I really can't see your picture as well either.
Yeah,
You know,
same. It's really small.
Vincent's was closer up and he had his hair done, and yours is farther away and you're covered up. Like, I don't know, man. I can't see you.
All right.
I like that you're here.
I
I like
like
talking to you. There's your compliment.
I like the fact that out of the three of us, you're the one who's judging the listeners' looks.
I know, right? Like, who gives a shit
Harsh.
what Shrek thinks up here? Like, everybody calm down.
All right, guys. I'm gonna get us down to Jorge's Kelsey trade, and then we'll go back to our booms and busts. So let's get
All
back.
love, Elias, man. All love, bro.
Actually, I like Holmes' picture there because I love me some Westbrook in OKC. So should I trade AJ Dillon, Javonte Williams for Austin Eckler, Rashad Penny, and Kenneth Walker?
No.
I wouldn't do that.
I'd rather have Dylan and Javonte, man.
That Rashad Penny, Kenneth Walker is not.
Yeah, I like Eckler, but it's not worth Javonte and Dylan. And I don't think Penny and Walker are going to be that valuable to you this year.
Yeah, I want the Dylan and Javonte Williams side of that. I don't see Tony disagreeing with that. Oh, his other running back is Derrick Henry. So he'd have Eckler and Derrick Henry, but Eckler, AJ Dillon, and Javonte Williams is pretty sexy. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, put the trade back up again.
Yeah, AJ Dillon, Javonte Williams for Austin Eckler, Rashad Penny, and Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I think I really do like Eckler. Javonte Williams, though, this guy is a beast. He's taken now 65% of the snap share in that offense, high-powered offense. He looks amazing. I think he's fourth in the league right now, yards after contact, 3.9, almost a full yard actually, above the league average. And AJ Dillon's also a guy that's going to come on for the rest of the season. So I think I lean AJ Dillon, Javonte. I'm really down on Derrick Henry. We talked about him last night. I'm concerned about Derrick Henry, and I'd rather have AJ Dillon and Javonte Williams.
Is Derrick Henry finally his wall?
I think if you listen last night, it's a combination, I think, of hitting the wall and losing AJ Brown. I think what we're seeing is the impact on that offense, losing a stud receiver like AJ Brown, who really kept the entire secondary and on its toes, kept that defense honest, and prevented these defenses from stacking the box to kind of attack Derrick Henry. So I
Yeah.
think we're going to see him struggle all season without AJ Brown in that offense.
Yeah. Jack says, thanks, guys. Not going to accept the trade. I just really like Pitts as a player. So much potential. Agree.
We all
Dynasty,
agree on that.
Dynasty's a little different, too. I guess we didn't really talk about that, but Kyle Pitts in Dynasty is
This is a
fantastic.
dynasty league?
I don't know. I'm just saying, if it is, we should have thought of that earlier, but too late now. Okay, I traded Kelsey Lockett for Kamara Thielen. Then traded Kamara Thielen for Debo Higbee Patterson. So you essentially traded Kelsey and Lockett for Debo, Higbee, and Patterson.
Yeah. And if I remember right, I think he had Schultz on that team too, now that I think about it. That's why, because I remember him asking us about Kelsey now, because he was asking us about Kamara Thielen last week.
Yeah.
I think we've helped him make every trade in that league. Yeah, I remember the Kelsey Lockett, Kamara Thielen discussions now, and I think he had Schultz is why we said it'd be okay to get Kamara.
Got it. Dude, write it out phonetically so we can say your damn name correctly.
So is it A, Elias, or B, Elias? Is it Spanish?
Elias. Okay, sorry.
It's not extraterrestrial.
Elias.
He's not trying to phone home, bro.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. Let's get over here. Sorry, Zal. We will get to you. Sorry, I just already put a closing point on that. So we got to get back over here to our booms and busts. Let's do wide receivers. We'll let Kyle go first.
All right, let's go with the boom. Terry McLaurin. And this is a weird one because earlier I was talking about, that Philly defense, but I think they really try to get McLaurin. I think they focus on getting McLaurin go this week after Curtis Samuels kind of led the charge the last couple of weeks. And I think they're going to really, really push to get McLaurin going. And I know Slay is a monster, but I don't know that they'll put Slay shadowing him. So I think they can move McLaurin around enough to get him open. And I think you will. So even against Philly, I think McLaurin has a really good week this week.
Well, it's a rivalry game, so I think he'll have a shot at it too. Tony, what you got?
Yeah, I've got my boom for the week as a guy we just talked about in a potential trade, and that's Drake London. This offense now, through the first 2 weeks, is really running through Drake London. In that passing game, he has definitely been the option for Marcus Mariota above and beyond Kyle Pitts. He's dominating that target share, 19 targets through the first 2 weeks. Going up against this Seahawk defense, they've been soft against the receiver position. And I think Drake London is a guy who's going to give you a very high floor with that type of target share on a weekly basis. So he's a boom guy for me this week.
Yeah, I'm starting to really, really like Drake London. Like you said, it looks like the offense is just flowing through him, which is good because I have him in a few leagues, and so I'm liking that quite a bit. He was my favorite wide receiver in the draft, and it looks like he's going to live up to it. Kyle, give us your bust.
Well, first of all, I just have to bring attention. Elias that's how he says he pronounces it, Elias. So I also have to apologize to him for saying it wrong and for Corey for correcting him when he said it right the very first time.
Yeah, I said it right the first time.
So once again, as usual, don't fucking listen to me. So my bust for the week. Speaking of not listening to me, my bust is Rashad Bateman. And really all it boils down to is that New England defense. And I think that whole offense is going to struggle against them this week. And that's really all it boils down to.
Yep.
Rough matchup. Rough matchup.
I agree. That's not a good matchup at all. Okay, I knew just seeing the board that this was Tony's doing, so that's why I let.
He's the
Kyle
only one that picks a team and not a player.
Well,
go. So Tony,
But
tell us about it.
on this one, I can get with him on it though. I'm with
I
him.
agree.
yeah,
All
I
right,
mean,
give it to
I
us.
didn't throw any specific receivers out there. I just told Kyle
I left a couple of them off because I didn't want to put them all out there. But
that my bust for the week are the Green Bay wide receivers. Whichever receiver you want to talk about, they're all going to be on my bust list.
Yeah, it's just that
You
we
know-
don't have a card that says like Green Bay receiving core.
Well, create
So-
one.
you create one.
This is, let me remind you guys, this is the Fantasy Football Network. We don't take no for an answer at the network. We create. So we make a card, make a Green Bay Packer card.
We don't create nothing. He does.
Well, whatever. But when I say we, I'm really talking about Corey. But look, they're going up against this Tampa Bay secondary, which has been just a brutal matchup so far this year. I'm not happy about starting any Green Bay receiver in any lineup. Lazard, who are the guys you got up here? Lazard and Watson and Daubs, whether it's DFS. Don't put them in your flex. These are guys they got to be riding Pine this week.
Yeah, I'm not liking any of them, honestly.
Writing.
I don't know when I
all the
will.
time.
Yeah, I don't know when I will like any of them, honestly.
Until one of them does like a consistent breakout. Like it's been a different one every week so far.
And I wouldn't even call those breakouts. I just
They're not really breakouts.
Yeah.
Sammy had his one good of the week this last week, so
yeah.
I
Just
didn't even
go-
put him on the list this week.
Play the running backs, sit the wide receivers. Unless Terran Jones, I guess. All right. Kyle. Or no, we'll let Tony go first on tight ends. Tony, who's your tight end here?
Yeah, I'm going to go with my tight end bust on the week, and that is a guy that many of us were high on coming into the season as a big time sleeper, and that's Albert O.
What the hell did I just do?
What's that?
Nothing.
I'm gonna put all the tight ends over here.
Yeah, did not really get any type of a target share in week 2, and the 49ers so far on the season are the worst matchup for the tight end position. So little target share, worst matchup in the league for tight ends. That's a guy who's going to be a bust.
Yeah, he's been a bust all year so far and just not liking him. But lots of hype, like you said in the offseason, lots of hype coming out on Albert O.
Dude,
Just not delivering. Sounds like
there
Kyle
was
Pitts.
there was a lot of hype around a lot of sleeper tight ends that hadn't worked out. And
For
it's
sure.
been pretty good. I was all over Cole Kmet coming in the year, and instead,
sure.
instead Higbee's breaking out. Although we did get Everett right.
Yeah. Okay, so Kyle, are you talking about Everett?
I am not.
Okay, cool. Wait,
my-
Kyle. Who's your guy then?
My bust of the week is Hawkinson.
Jesus.
Minnesota is a bad matchup, and honestly, like he's just not producing right now. I mean, Goff is throwing it to Monroe all day long, but really it boils down to that Minnesota matchup is just not a great matchup for tight ends, and I don't think it's a this ain't the get right week situation. So
No. Yeah, I'm not liking TJ Hawkinson pretty much ever in my lineup, but that's just me.
sorry to throw you off the segue there with
Yeah.
the Everett
Well.
situation.
I guess we know who Tony's boom is.
Mr. Everett.
It's a good call.
Mr. Everett. Like him in this offense, he looked
Yeah.
looked really good week 2 at Kansas whatchamacallit.
Wherever the hell.
Was that?
He played it wherever the hell he played.
Yeah, they play Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the
Yeah,
Thursday.
he looked fantastic. And again, with Keenan Allen injured and banged up with that hamstring, it just seems that Herbert tends to look this kid's way an awful lot. It's only through the first 2 weeks, but he has had 14 targets so far on the season, 125 yards receiving. He's got 1 touchdown so far. I like him an awful lot in this matchup versus Jacksonville.
Absolutely. Sign me up for that. His projections are pretty low for some reason across the board, so that's why you don't pay attention to projections, guys. You just play your guys.
People making the projections don't trust him yet, but I do.
Yeah, they've got him at like 6.5 points or something, and it's just like, and they still have Kyle Pitts at like 10.5. So that tells you anything. Homer.
Yeah, exactly.
We got Raiders fans making projections over here or something. I don't know. All right,
Well,
Kyle.
you just had a Raiders fan pick a Charger as his boom player, so
that's true. Wow, that leaves us with Higbee for you.
Yeah, man, Tyler Higbee. We talked about him a little bit earlier with that one trade. I mean, he's getting a huge target share in this offense right now and producing with those touches. So, I mean, as long as he's involved in this offense the way he has been, I'm going to ride him. And Arizona, I had it wrong last week with Waller. I'll give it to Tony. I mean, 50 yards and a touchdown wasn't a boom for Waller, but it wasn't a bust either. So this is not the defense for the Cardinals that it was last year, clearly. So, hey, I'm going to ride that same wave there with Higbee against Arizona.
Yeah, no doubt. You're right. That defense is not looking great over there in Arizona like they had in the past. So not quite the same. Not quite the same. All right, guys, let's move on to our Super Smash and Super Crash of the week. Now, this can be at any position you want it to be. This is going to be who you think is going to do the overall like best boom or bust players that aren't already on the board. So, Kyle, let's start with you on this. Give me your super.
I'm going to go with bust first.
Yeah, I want to say Super Crash. Yeah,
because it's a little more obvious, I guess, than the smash is for me this week, and it's Tua against Buffalo, and that second part says everything about why I put him in this department. Nobody has done anything against Buffalo, and it's not going to start with Tua.
How dare you? Tua top 5. I'm just kidding.
Tua top 5. Yeah, Zach would hate me right now, but it's true.
I was talking to Zach earlier, and he's like, the one week I don't say it, and he actually does.
That was funny.
That was good.
But yeah, I don't see him having a very good game against this Buffalo team.
Yeah. All right, Tony, what do you have as your Super Crash?
I'm going to go right in line with my bust receivers and Kyle's bust running back, and that is Aaron Rodgers with the Green Bay Packers. Again, brutal matchup. Rodgers has looked pedestrian through the first 2 weeks. He has not been a fantasy superstar by any stretch of the imagination. And we've already seen Tampa Bay basically shut down both Dak and Jameis Winston. They've only given up 370 passing yards total on the season for the first 2 weeks. They've had 10 sacks already on the year, 4 interceptions. I think this is just a brutal start for Rodgers. He's at Tampa Bay. This is a guy for me who is going to be looking at a very poor outing this week in this matchup.
Yeah,
he's my super crash.
Yeah, he got paid. He doesn't care anymore. He doesn't have the wide receivers, and he's like, I got my money. It's cool. Maybe next year. And it's like, no, because we can't afford to go get you any help because we paid you so dang much.
I think he's winding it down. I don't want to speculate onto what his mindset is, but his offense is once Devontae Adams left that receiver room, I think it was the beginning of the end for Aaron Rodgers.
I think he's preparing to become Nick Cage's stuntman.
Yeah,
his stunt double.
He's still struggling from that COVID toe. That's what it is.
All
right, Kyle, give us your Super Smash.
All right, Super Smash this week is Tony Pollard.
I knew it.
Ooh.
Yeah, playing against the Giants, which is a pretty good matchup in the first place. But then he's also looking way better than Zeke Elliott, way more explosive, playing much better. And he's on Monday night. Give me some Tony Pollard, man.
You just
He's
like
gonna-
the name Tony.
He's going to
That's
go.
what it
I
is.
do love my Tonys. I do love my Tonys. And I can't rub on Tony anymore either because you put us not side by side anymore. So I guess I got to feel up instead. I don't know.
No,
But,
you don't want to know where your head is at. Anyways,
But yeah, man, I'm loving me some Tony Pollard this week. He's becoming the running back in Dallas to own and to play over Zeke right before our very eyes.
yeah, he does look quicker, more explosive, hits the hole better. Like, yes, I'm just really annoyed that the Cowboys paid Zeke so dang much. Because I'd rather just. play
If they
Pollard.
hadn't, we could have gone and signed some offensive linemen this offseason. So,
Yep.
So
Keep that in mind, players, because I know there's so many of you listening to us right now.
Tom Brady, there's a reason Tom Brady is the GOAT. It's because he's the only player I've ever known that took significantly less money than he was worth so that the team could put players around him to succeed.
Alrighty. Super Smash for Tony. And I like this pick. People pay attention to this explanation. Go for it, Tony.
No pressure.
Really put the pressure on me with that one, Corey. This is a great spot for Cousins as a strong bounce back game from that Monday night game against Philadelphia. Detroit is ranked 29th versus the pass. We saw Detroit make a Jalen Watts look like a league MVP in week 1 and Carson Wentz in week 2. This is going to be a get back on track game for this Minnesota offense. I'm all over the Vikings this week. Love Kirk Cousins in this spot at home. I would probably be comfortable putting him in my top 3 or 4 quarterback starts for the week.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right, never mind.
You notice I said 3 or 4 because I didn't think top 5 was strong enough.
Oh,
This I think is a great start for Cousins.
I love that. So the reason I said that this is a good pick and to pay attention is because I have seen so many people that had Trey Lance that also had Kirk Cousins. Like that was their backup. And now they're freaking out and going after Tua or whoever else they can go after, freaking out this week. And you can start Kirk Cousins. That's fine. And for some reason, that was a duo that was drafted because you kind of probably got Trey Lance a little bit late, and then Kirk Cousins was kind of after him, probably in like your next round or something. So, that's a combo. Or you were able to pick up Kirk Cousins after the draft as your backup, But Cousins, viable starter. So I've heard that from multiple people. Like, oh, I lost Trey Lance. I have Kirk Cousins, but blah blah blah.
Fine. You're fine.
Yeah, I've heard that so much. I'm in that boat. I had Trey Lance and Kirk Cousins, and so, anyways, you lived up to the hype. I'll let it. I'll accept it.
Appreciate
All
that.
right, all right.
We'll allow it.
Yeah, we'll allow it.
I'll allow it.
One last view of the board there, before we go back to Q&A. So there's your booms, your busts, there's Super Smash, your Super Crash. We'll post the booms and the busts on Instagram, probably on Saturday, so that you can see those again if you forget, or take a screenshot right now, whatever you want. All right, let's go to some more Q&A here, because I know what you guys really want from us.
You only want one thing, and it's disgusting.
Our eyes are up here. Is Garrett Wilson a good start this week?
I could see him getting. I could see getting him in your flex this week against Cincinnati. I mean, we saw Noah Brown and CeeDee Lamb have a good week last week with Cooper Rush. So,
yeah, I don't hate him, but Tony, what's that? What's your little smirk?
I can't think of many receivers that are a must start more than a Garrett Wilson. This guy right now, it's there's always a player or two every year, and we you play fantasy long enough. There's always a couple of guys who every year pop up out of nowhere and go on to have tremendous seasons. If you kind of grab them early enough in the season, you can kind of ride them and win the league. Yeah, these are the types of guys, I think, like a Garrett Wilson type of guy is a guy who can be a league winner if he keeps up what he's been doing. So far on the season, he's the wide receiver 12. If I were going to tell you before the season started that through the first 2 weeks, Garrett Wilson was going to be a top 12 receiver, you tell me I'm crazy. And this game could be a shootout. This is a game where the Jets might have to keep pace with the Cincinnati Bengals. I do think what is the question? Is he a good start this week? I think he's a great start this week.
Yeah. Didn't make the boom list, but still a great start.
No, I didn't put him on my boom list, but he could have been on the boom list.
Yeah. Okay. Only other option is Olave or Thielen.
No.
I would go with Garrett Wilson there.
No, it's not even close. ZA.
Sorry, I didn't read ahead. I didn't see that one.
You got to say it with pizzazz.
Well,
That does change things when you see the other options.
Kind of.
When I look at it, it says Zaza. So Zaza, this is. I don't think it's close here. You got to start Garrett Wilson.
Alrighty. Trade J-Rob for Pittman. 3 wide receiver, 2 flex. Has Kamara, Darrell Henderson, Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, Christian Kirk, Elijah Moore, Chris Godwin. So you're already pretty loaded at wide receiver, but you have to start 3 wide receivers and 2 flex. So you can start Adams, Moore, Christian Kirk, Pittman.
Jeffrey, when you have to start that many players, you can't do. I guess it's a straight up 1-for-1. I'm sorry, so I misread it at first. I thought you were giving 2-for-1, but you're starting 3 receivers, 2 flex, and 2 running backs.
That would be my guess. Is there's 2 running backs there? Yeah. I'm not seeing it, but let's assume that it's 2 running backs too, because I don't know how it wouldn't be.
He only listed 2 other running backs.
Yeah, so he's got 3 on his roster right now.
I don't think you can afford to give one up for Pittman. You've already got some depth at receiver there. I'd probably hang on to J-Rob if that's your full roster there.
That's tough.
Much as I like Pittman.
Yeah,
seems like you need a running back worse.
I think I'm going to disagree. I think on the season, I'd rather start Pittman over J-Rob, but you're going to be going with Kamara and Darrell Henderson at your running back, and then you have Devontae, DJ, Christian Kirk, and then you have 2 flex, which will be Pittman and Godwin comes back. That's a pretty sick lineup.
Yeah, I'm a little worried if those are the only running backs, though. Bye weeks or injury, just kind of you're hosed.
Yeah, it's nice to have a little bit of depth there at the running back position.
So that's my only worry. I could only assume that you actually have more running backs than that. You probably didn't find them as worthy of putting them on here, but I would assume.
I do love Pittman. Like that's a move I would make personally, but
in a nutshell, I think
it depends on what
vacuum. Sorry, not in a nutshell, but in a vacuum, I would trade J-Rob for Pittman. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
I like Pittman over J-Rob, but depending on your running back depth, depends on whether I would take that trade or not.
Yeah. That's a toughie. Maybe we'll get more context later. Pronounce LES. Yeah, LES. So I win. Okay.
I didn't say LES. That said Lees.
LES.
It says Lees.
Oh, okay. So
that's right. You're right. It's Lees. Lees.
LES. Got it. LES. Just kidding.
Okay, I'm doing that from now on. On Tuesday, I traded Nick Chubb for Derrick Henry and Darnell Mooney.
Oh.
I also traded Treylon Burks for Cam Akers. How would you rate these moves?
No.
That's a epic fail.
No.
I'd be the worst teacher ever because I'd just put WTF on the report card for those.
No. Did you hear? Were you paying attention? Philly,
Ever from
if
us?
you-
Like ever? No, I'm just kidding.
if you were listening earlier on Fields, I mean this it's such a low volume passing offense.
Tony's not mad. He's just really disappointed in you, Philly.
I mean, just think about that for a second. Through 2 games, Justin Fields has thrown 29 passes. 29 passes through 2 games.
There are guys that throw double that in one game.
Why would you want any part of that passing offense? And Darnell Mooney just is not a big enough part of it to begin with, and he's he's not getting the type of targets for a guy that you want on your fantasy roster. I would drop Darnell Mooney, and between the 2 running backs, I think Chubb's. Cleveland is a running football team. This team wants to run the football. Nick Chubb's going to be a great play all year long.
Yeah, I agree. Love Chubb.
Oh,
You gonna be okay over there, Tony?
no.
Uh,
I get the interest in Derrick Henry, and
Yeah.
I get some people just love Derrick Henry, but Darnell Mooney like that, he has 0 value. He has almost negative value. He hurts you by starting him.
Robinson and Bateman for Pierce and Garrett Wilson. Do I accept this trade?
What is it?
Are you
James
getting
Robinson.
Robinson?
Robinson and Bateman for Pierce and Garrett Wilson. Doesn't really matter, right? It's just which side of that wins.
Robinson Bateman wins. That's the side I want.
What does Tony think?
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a hard time or difficult. I can see doing that deal.
I could see it. It's just you got to rely on some upside of a couple rookies for Pierce and Wilson. It's a little tough, but
I feel a little more secure with Robinson and Bateman, yeah. The other side certainly has the upside to do the same.
Yeah.
But
So here's my only concern about Garrett Wilson. I just kind of talked about him being a great start this week. I'm sorry, what side of the trade is Alex getting?
he didn't say.
no, he didn't say.
Oh,
But
so
which side?
we're just saying which side we like better.
Yeah, just which side of that do you like better?
I would say on the season, J-Rob and Bateman. And here's part of my concern with Wilson is we've seen him through 2 weeks, but we've seen Joe Flacco behind center.
Yes,
And
that's
many
true.
times you see a change in a quarterback, and it changes instantly the value of the receiver. You've also seen Tyler Conklin. Tyler Conklin has gotten a ton of volume in that passing offense, but we don't know exactly what it's going to look like when Zach Wilson comes back, which is going to be any week now. So I'd hate for you to invest and get a Garrett Wilson, and then all of a sudden, get the rug pulled out from underneath you on that one.
Yeah, because I think Wilson comes back, and I think he likes Elijah Moore a little more.
And look, J-Rob is going to be he's going to be the bell cow type running back in that offense. He's going to be I think his workload is going to continue to increase on the season. And then Bateman is the number 1 receiver in Baltimore. Maybe you can make a case for Andrews, but Andrew obviously is a tight end. Bateman is the wide receiver 1, and I love Bateman on the season.
Yeah. Can't argue with that. Should I accept Dalvin Cook for my Javonte Williams and Drake London? So he's already got Mixon and Kamara. Wide receivers are Jefferson, Keenan Allen, and Garrett Wilson.
Oh, keep Javonte in London.
Yeah, I'd keep Javonte and Drake London there. What do you think, Tony? Javonte Williams and Drake London for Dalvin Cook?
I hate that 2-for-1. And again, we're assuming you're doing 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a flex. It's hard not knowing the roster construction.
Yeah, I would always assume that unless they say otherwise.
But I love if you don't make the deal, you've got Mixon and Kamara. You probably can stick Javonte into your flex. You got Jefferson, Keenan Allen. Drake London is a great number 3 receiver. That weakens your team. You lose your depth. I just, as much as I really love Dalvin Cook, I would not do that trade.
Injuries are imminent. They will happen. They will come for you.
And trust me when I tell you, Javonte Williams is only going to get better in this offense as the season progresses.
Yeah, I agree. Should I trade away McLaurin for Kittle? Other wide receivers are Chase, Deontay, Devontae Smith. Other tight end is Everett.
Nah, hang on
I
to
wouldn't do
McLaurin.
that.
I'd ride Everett and I'd hang on to McLaurin.
I like Everett. Yeah, McLaurin is worth too much.
You can't trust Deontay with Trubisky. Devontae Smith, I can't trust him with A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown owns that offense.
Mhm.
I'd maybe trade Deontay or Devontae Smith for Kittle.
Let me ask you guys this question. What's the over-under on Kittle starting 6 games this season?
Oh, God.
Under so far.
Yeah.
Probably under, yeah.
So never trade healthy players for unhealthy players. I don't know how long you've been doing fantasy, but just a general rule when you're looking at fantasy trades, don't trade healthy guys for guys who are injured.
Yeah, because from experience, I traded the year before last. I traded some healthy guys for Joe Mixon because Joe Mixon was supposed to come back in a game or two, and he was out for the rest of the season. They shut him down, and I was without a running back in a 16 team league. And it's just like, ouch, that hurt big time. So you just never know with those injuries.
That's just just as a general rule. You got to be really careful when you're trading a healthy guy for an injured player.
Trade away Madison and James Williams for Devontae Smith, PPR to a Cook owner. I mean, what do you get with Devontae Smith?
You're not getting anything with Devontae Smith at all.
I wouldn't do that. And here's the thing, Yadvir. Madison for you, Devontae Smith doesn't really have any value on your team. Nope. Madison, on the other hand, is a lottery ticket. Because if Cook goes down, if Cook misses time, which he has not been,
always does.
Yeah, he has not been healthy. He has not made it through a full fantasy season without missing some time. If he misses 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever that time frame is, Madison is an RB1 instantly.
Yeah,
so he's a lottery ticket on your bench, is what he is.
Yeah, Madison is one of the most valuable handcuffs in fantasy football. Yes, Philly, you did let us down.
Sorry, Philly.
First of all, by being a Philly fan. Second of all, with those trades. So.
I don't have any problem with you being a Philly fan, but I don't like the trade.
But we do.
Yeah, no doubt. Don't let it happen again. Okay, starting roster this week: Josh Allen, Jonathan Taylor, Fournette, Sutton, Debo, Higbee, Patterson. Browns defense suck up. What do you guys think? Schultz hurt, Godwin also. Yeah, that's a pretty solid lineup. Let's see.
Yeah,
Vincent.
I like it.
Starting Eckler and Jacobs at running back, A.J. Brown, Waddle at wide receiver. Who for flex? James Robinson, T. Higgins, Rashad Bateman, Tony Pollard, or Drake London?
Wow.
That's
good luck.
That's a good problem to have.
Vincent, good luck guessing right on that every week.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know, what I would be looking at doing, to be honest with you, is I'd be looking to try and make a trade. I'd be looking to try and package 2 of those guys up and get a bona fide, starter that you don't have to guess every week. The one thing you want to try and do is simplify your roster, and you can't have 7 guys who are all the same guy, and you're trying to pick the right one, because 9 times out of 10 you pick the wrong guy every week.
And then you're mad the entire day.
Yeah.
Or week.
So I'd look for a receiver depleted team, guys who need receivers, and package up a Higgins and a Bateman, or, a London and a Higgins or something. Package a couple of these guys up and see if you can upgrade at the receiver position. That's what I would be looking to do.
God, there's so much.
Your first mistake is starting Jacobs over J-Rob.
I was just about to say the same. Yeah. I'll start Jacobs over J-Rob, probably.
Yeah, put in J-Rob, and then you got stuff you can package together. I think you got to start Higgins, though, out of what's left if you don't get a trade before Sunday.
There's so much value in these guys you have in your flex option there. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, put Robinson in for Jacobs and then start Higgins. Or Pollard. I love Pollard. He was my smash of the week, for God's sake.
So just 2 suggestions. Look for a guy who had a down week, like a T Higgins, like a T. I'm just going to give you a couple of just examples. A T Higgins and Rashad Bateman for Devontae Adams. Something like that. Stud guy maybe has a down week, and maybe you can buy him on a little on a cheap side, especially if the guy has a need at the receiver position, or upgrade at the running back. Give J. Rob and a T Higgins or a Bateman and get a little bit more of an elite type running back that you can plug in every week and not have to think about it.
Two other guys, you mentioned Adams, but I think Pittman and Debo would also be two very good targets that you could
Totally agree.
probably get with a pair of those guys there.
Totally agree. I like both of those guys.
Yep. Okay, I need a buy low wideout. Let me hear it. Metcalf, DJ Moore are not getting it done. Well, I think we just listed a couple.
Yeah,
As a
we
matter of
just listed some.
But yeah, Metcalf sucks. DJ Moore will pick up, I feel like, just FYI. But
Yeah, Debo, Pittman are two higher end ones that you could buy low on. I think you could buy low on, either of the Denver wide receivers right now. McLaurin you could buy low on right now, which I love.
yeah, McLaurin's a good one.
Cooks.
Brandon Cooks a little low right now.
So yeah, those are the kinds of guys I'd be looking for right now at receiver.
It kind of exhausts my list when I'm looking at it. I think Devontae Adams is just going to be really hard to snag.
But
Because people spent so much draft capital on him. So he's going to be hard to pry away from someone. Now, there's also, we're talking about buy low. There might be people that think they're selling high. And I know I said this earlier about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Some of these guys, people think I'm going to sell high on him because St. Brown still isn't that household name. And so some people may not think that about him, and they'll be like, ooh, I got to sell him while he's hot. So just a thought. Never hurts to try.
Yeah, I'll give you another guy too, because maybe some of the players we're naming are a little bit outside of your reach. A guy that I love on the season, but not really talked about him much so far this year. I do have stock in him, but I don't know if you want to call it a buy low, but Brandon Cooks for me is a guy that I love to have on my roster. He's undervalued. He really is a borderline wide receiver one. He dominates the target share in Houston. Davis Mills is locked in on this guy. Week 1, 50% air yards. He had 34% of the target share week 1, 26% of the target share week 2. This is a guy who is not going anywhere in this offense, and it's going to continuously go through him in Houston. And Houston's going to be in some game scripts, I think, this year that are really going to favor Brandon Cooks. So just a guy that I wanted to throw out there. If you're looking for a guy, maybe you can get a little bit on the cheaper side who gives you tremendous upside, kind of that wide receiver value, even though you're not going to pay the wide receiver one value, even though you're not paying wide receiver one price, is Brandon Cooks.
Yep, definitely undervalued. Alrighty. Is Fournette worth trading for Javonte Williams? Since you said he's going to be better. He's going to get better. Out of those two, Fournette and Javonte Williams, which one do you want, Tony?
It kind of felt like that question was being directed at me. Boy, well, fortunately for me, I've got both. I've got stock in both of those guys, so I've not necessarily had to decide one or the other. I would say here's what I would say, though. The one thing that Javonte Williams has over Fournette is that he's younger and he is healthy. The one issue that I have with Fournette, and I'm again huge Lenny guy, is not to keep going to the same thing, but that hamstring. This has been an ongoing theme for Leonard Fournette, and I'm very nervous about that hamstring. It's already flared up. We're in week 2 of the season. It's a long season. So, we got Rachaad White waiting in the wings. If I'm looking on the season, I'm looking for Javonte Williams.
Same.
I don't say he's going to get better. What I'm saying, Jorge, is that he's going to become a bigger part of this offense is what I'm saying. We've already seen in week 2, he went to 65% snap share. So his snap share is already beginning to skyrocket. 65 for Javonte, 35 for Gordon. This guy, I mean, he's a stud running back.
Yep.
Involved in the running game, involved in the passing game. He gets the red zone looks, down in the goal line. I think it's a guy. Yeah, if you have to kind of have one or the other on the season, I'm leaning Javonte Williams personally.
Yep. I'm liking Williams there too.
He's almost like a Nick Chubb, but he gets the catches.
That's a good comparison. All right, Vincent. We said you were handsome, so now you're being sweet back. Oh, you guys are awesome. Great advice all around, but you all right. Very good problem to have. Yeah, so many flex options there. That's fantastic, especially in such a deep lineup. I don't know how they let you draft that or what trade you pulled off. It's an impressive.
Yeah, I definitely did a great job.
Yeah. Nailed that draft for sure.
This is funny. Do you all think the ending of tonight's game was fixed by Vegas?
Yeah, right.
It kind of feels that way,
like
but
it.
I don't think so. I think sometimes shit just happens, but
Somehow the Steelers got the ball back and then just happened to toss it back into the end zone so
Well,
the Browns can get it. Like,
dude, yeah, I
what
turned the
was
game off so I could come in here, and I didn't think Pittsburgh would even get the ball again. And then I hear about all that crap that happened, and I don't know. It's suspicious.
I agree.
I'm watching the NFL right now. It's suspicious.
Yeah. Somehow they got the ball back. Somehow the ball was just tossed into the end zone conveniently. I mean, 1777, you might be onto something here. Might be on some. I smell a
Maybe.
documentary coming.
Maybe the next Netflix limited series documentary coming out. A suspicious case.
Super
The
suspicious.
2022 Week 3 Steelers Browns fix game. You're gonna just be like, nobody cares about that game, and just keep going.
on Prime Video.
He's gonna be like, yeah, I want to watch this, and then him and his mom would be the only ones that watch it.
Dude, yeah, over-under bettors are pissed about it, and also just fantasy players who have Najee and playing against Browns defense.
Against that Browns defense, man, which I am.
It just screwed up everybody and everything. It's wild how stuff happens. It's such an unpredictable game. Just kind of what I love about it. So,
For real.
Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it for tonight. We're going to wrap this up. Tony, Kyle, appreciate you joining us and giving your insights. Guests, love having you too. Smash that like button and that subscribe button. And check out Fantasy Football Network. You can go to the website, sign up there, or you can download our mobile app and get signed up there too. So we have free and paid subscriptions. And be on the lookout for some giveaways that we're about to do. And with that, I'll end it with this nice, kind words here from Philly Editor. You guys are awesome. Have a great night. See y'all Monday night. Good luck this week to all of you. Yep. We'll see you for Panic Room on Monday, or you can join us on Sunday for a little bit too on some pregame Q&A and stuff. So that being said, we'll see you guys.